Hey, it's Rav. Welcome to the Everyday Investor, the hottest investment show in the world. That's right, I said it. I don't care who knows it. Remember, when anyone offers you any type of investment opportunity, you always want to ask 4 questions to start. Number 1, what is the ROI? What's the return on investment? 2, when do I get that return along with the money that I put in? 3, what is the minimum investment amount needed? And 4, what is the risk, the worst case scenario? This show is designed to help us all grow our money. You see, we take our time, we go to work, we get a paycheck in order to live, in order to eat. We take our time, we go to work, we get paid so we can pay the bills. But imagine a world where you could take that time, because money is making you money, you're taking that time and you are doing what you want with it, spending it with friends, family, engaging in a purpose greater than yourself. That is why we do this show. We bring on guests every week to teach us how to do just that. Super excited about today's show. We're going to be talking to our friend. Wait for it. We'll be right back. Coming up, we talk to Tanya Smith, and she's teaching us how to make money flipping a cottage.
It afforded us a lot of different opportunities. So we did purchase it originally thinking we would certainly use it for ourselves. We could rent it out. And then who knows, things just sort of snowballed from there.
The mortgage world has changed. Has your advice? Are you looking for a modern approach to your mortgage planning process? Advice tailored to your unique, ever-changing circumstances? Whether you're upsizing, downsizing, purchasing, or refinancing, the Kyle Ford Mortgage team works with individuals and companies to custom tailor the right mortgage product for you. Working with a wide selection of lenders, we're here to serve our clients and help them achieve their real estate and retirement goals. Contact the Kyle Ford Mortgage team today, Canada's mortgage choice.
Hey, it's Rav. Welcome back to Everyday Investor. Before we talk to Tanya, let's find out what's happening in the world of stocks with our stocks expert, Omar Khan. Over to you, Omar.
Thanks, Rav. Omar Khan here, guys, with Data Trading. Want to give you the weekly market update. Markets continue to grind higher. Why? Because corporate earnings are ultimately what drives stock market prices higher. Corporate earnings have been coming in really good with Apple and Facebook and Microsoft, all of the big names, Tesla. They're doing really, really well in terms of their earnings. And these kind of companies, Amazon disappointed a bit. But the main thing is the consumer is healthy, which means you're spending money, which means these companies are making a lot of money. Now, August and September are traditionally weaker times of the stock market, weaker times of the year. So let's see if we get a bit of a pullback. But based upon these corporate earnings, there's a high likelihood that the second half of the year, because of these high earnings, will look pretty good. But we'll see. Ultimately, like I said, earnings, the amount of money a company makes, that will determine how high or low the stock price goes in the future. Back to you, Rav, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Thanks, Omar. Always great to learn from you as usual. Tanya, thank you so much for being on the show with me.
Well, thanks for having me. This is awesome.
I am born in Kingstown, Canada, Kingston, Ontario, born and raised. And it's so cool how you are on the show with me. Why don't you tell the story a little bit to the viewers?
Well, I moved to Kingston in '98 and certainly call this home now. It's a beautiful city, but a great place to be, great place to invest. Super close to everything that you want to be. St. Lawrence River is right here. It's a wonderful place for sure.
Yeah, no, but what's really cool is how this happened is that, that's great. You work with some friends, and one of those friends was my wife's father, and you guys were talking, having a drink, or actually were at his house for dinner, I think, right?
Yeah, we were over at his house, and we're talking about investing or whatever, and he'd mentioned you, and he said, you should call Rav and tell him that Dad sent you, and so anyway, here we are.
Yes, no, I think that's great. So thank you for being on the show. You guys, you have 10, 15, I think 15 to 20, I call them clients, but tenants that you take care of. And those are kind of buy and hold properties that you have. But we're going to be talking about how to make money flipping a cottage, because you're actually have closed on a cottage, and I really want to look through those numbers with you. It's going to be a lot of fun. But how did you kind of get into this game of investing in real estate? I mean, you're working at one of the penitentiaries?
Yes.
And you still are right now?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Along with your partner, and you guys together work there and together invest in real estate. How did that all happen?
So sort of randomly, I mean, my family is both, my mom and my sister are both realtors. So it sort of has always been in the family. And I always sort of wanted to do more than just your 9 to 5 sort of thing. And working in what we work in, you don't necessarily want to do a 35-year career there. So to find something else that you're interested in that can sort of replace that income and give you other opportunities. So back in the day when I bought my first home, I always rented out the bedrooms. When I sold that home, then I purchased 3 with the equity that I had in that house, and just sort of rolled from there. When my partner and I got together, it was something that we had discussed that we both wanted to get out of our current careers early as soon as possible. So that seemed like the next sort of natural progression in what we were doing anyway, is to build our portfolio to sort of replace our income.
No, I think that's fantastic. You know, you look like you're 30 years old, and I hear that you're retiring, what, in the next few years?
10 months I've got to go. So
wow, in 10 months you're retiring, and you're able to do that because of your real estate portfolio.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'll be retiring with my 25-year pension. My wife will be shortly behind me, probably a year or so after that. So we're basically trying to generate enough income to replace her salary so we can sort of retire at the same time.
No, listen, Tanya, that is fantastic. Very, very inspiring. So I'm curious. So we have these properties that we get, you know, they're paying down the mortgage, they increase in value, there's some cash flow coming so that we can eat. Then how did we where did the cottage come into play? Like, were you going to buy it for your own use? Were you going to Airbnb it? And then it just, you know, the offers came in and they were too good not to sell. How did you get from, you know, the buy and hold to the cottage, and then secondly, flipping the cottage?
Right. So we always keep a real close eye on the market, and this spot came up for sale like just 5 minutes north of the 401, and actually closer to work than our home is. So we thought that's sort of a neat opportunity for a spot where we could rent it to folks when we're not using it, but also a lot of times when you think cottage space, you think an hour, 2 hours north or away from your home. So this being so close to home and so close to work, it afforded us a lot of different opportunities. So we did purchase it originally thinking we would certainly use it for ourselves. We could rent it out. And then who knows, things just sort of snowballed from there. And then we had a fantastic offer on it, and we thought, okay, so that will afford us opportunities to do other things. So we jumped on it, and pretty happy about it all.
And now you can just go sit by Lake Ontario anytime you want.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. No, that's great. Listen, and so did you put it on the MLS just to test, or did somebody make you an offer?
Yeah. So essentially through our realtor that we use here in Kingston, was showing some other property to some folks from out of town. And she said, hey, would this property maybe suit your needs and whatever? So it just sort of unfolded really like randomly, and they went and saw it and they loved it, and we were able to pull the deal together. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And then with your other 10 or so properties that you have, you know, I think most of them are duplexes. You have one triplex.
Yeah.
You know, how do you do that? You know, Tanya, are these on market? Are these surfing the MLS? Is this your realtor? Are you finding these off market? Are you talking to the hairdresser and the mailman and figuring out what's coming up for sale because you have the inn? Like, how are you finding these properties? Or are you just happy to pay, you know, kind of market value and, making sure the numbers just work with, your expenses versus what's coming in for rent. Like, how does somebody acquire the properties?
So we sort of did all that stuff. Our realtor has, sort of her finger on the pulse here in Kingston, and we're always sort of looking. My wife and I will go around, driving around town to see what we can find. We sort of do everything. We don't have a big social media presence or anything like that, but we do post enough, and enough folks around town here know that, this is what we do. However, most of the stuff that we have found has come off of MLS. It's a tricky market right now. It's hot. So, it always comes down to your numbers have to make sense. Not every deal is going to be a grand slam, but sometimes triples count too, right? So you got to do what you can do because of what we're trying to do in our time frames. It was important for us to build our portfolio, maintaining the cash flow that we were going to need, but able to keep purchasing. So, you lose a lot of deals right now because you are competing with so many different people, because as an investor, your numbers do matter more. So we're just kind of like grasp at anything we can try to turn over and see what we stumble across.
And, I know we have the cottage here and we're going to look at those numbers after the break, but is your niche kind of the duplex, maybe a triplex? Do you like that? Or do you, want to get into, multi-family, whether it's a 10 or 20 or, kind of everyone has their own kind of sweet spot. Where do you guys like to focus on?
So up until this point, we have been sort of building our portfolio by doing duplex conversions. It's easier to cycle your money a little bit more that way. Certainly planning on maybe using that as a bit of a stepping stone for down the road. When you get enough equity built in a couple of those, maybe sell them off and build your portfolio into maybe a larger multifamily for sure. We're certainly open to anything and trying. Like we've got a flip that we're going to start doing here in the next couple of weeks, like a straight up planned flip. So that's another thing that we're going to try to do. We've got a couple other duplex conversions on the go right now as well. So we're just trying to keep moving and keep buying and making sure that, the numbers make sense. And as other opportunities arrive, we'll certainly jump on those if we can too.
And for the convenience, because we're doing this to enjoy, family and friends and purpose.
Absolutely.
And that's why we do all this, right? So under the category of convenience, do you want to keep it all kind of within half-hour drive, or are you willing to go to Belleville or Trenton, or if the numbers work there? What's the mindset?
Absolutely. Actually, we've started looking in other areas just outside of Kingston as well, because Kingston is hot right now. Everybody wants to be here, and we're seeing a lot of folks from larger centers coming here now. So a lot more competition than we're used to, and we're certainly like, again, I'm not looking to replace our full-time jobs that we already have with another one when we do retire. But, if you can get some decent teams in a couple other towns close by, absolutely. We have looked in like Gan and, Odessa and Napanee and Belleville and all those places for sure. So yeah, we're definitely open to expanding.
No, I think that's great. So are you, is this, and your wife's name?
Agata.
Sorry? Agata. So Tanya and Agata, is this their own money? And, thanks, but no thanks, Rav, we don't need any of yours or the viewers that are watching. Like, let's say somebody's watching and they say, I want to give Tanya and Agata a few bucks and I want to be able to do a joint venture partnership with them. Or are you looking for money lenders, or right now?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, you are?
Absolutely. Yep. So when we got started, we had sort of refinanced what we did have at the time, which allowed us, I think we've purchased 6 in the last year. So we're at the point now where we're sort of out of our own money, and we have done we've borrowed some private funds and stuff along the way when we needed to, so that we're certainly open to joint ventures. And again, anything that sort of comes your way that makes sense and that everybody can win. And yeah.
That's great. No, I mean, there's a lot of passive investors out there, and your information's on the screen. And so if people want to reach out, they can. That's good. And is it a debt deal, meaning you lend the money to Tanya Nagata and it's a, kind of a percentage, 10% or whatever it is? Or is it an equity deal where if you make $1, then we split that dollar 50 cents, 50 cents? Is it an equity deal or debt deal, or it depends?
It really depends. I mean, I think when you're joint venturing with somebody, everybody has sort of their own thoughts. And if you can get those thoughts and everybody's needs sort of aligned and everyone can get what they need and want out of the deal, then I don't think the structure matters as much. I think there's value to having different joint ventures structured in different ways for different reasons, for different folks. Everybody has their own way of doing things. So
love it. You're right. I mean, you have to, you propose, you work it out, we put it on paper, a napkin, whatever the case is, and then we go from there. But as long as it's a win-win. Again, thank you so much, Tanya, for being on the show. We'll take a quick break and then we'll go look at the numbers on this cottage that you flipped.
Hey.
We're talking to our friend, Tanya Smith. Don't go anywhere. Everyday Investor continues in a moment.
At Theta Training, our goal is to help you achieve financial freedom by teaching you the foundations of trading stock options. Join our growing community. Learn through our live-streamed weekend course, or develop your skills at your own pace online. Understand how the stock market works and how you can use the options market to earn additional income. Achieve financial freedom and live life on your terms. Let us help you build your empire.
The mortgage world has changed. Has your advice? Are you looking for a modern approach to your mortgage planning process? Advice tailored to your unique, ever-changing circumstances? Whether you're upsizing, downsizing, purchasing, or refinancing, the Kyle Ford Mortgage team works with individuals and companies to custom tailor the right mortgage product for you. Working with a wide selection of lenders, we're here to serve our clients and help them achieve their real estate and retirement goals. Contact the Kyle Ford Mortgage team today, Canada's mortgage choice.
Hey, it's Rav. Welcome back to the Everyday Investor. We're talking to my friend Tanya how we can make money flipping a cottage. Before we do that, let's find out what's happening in the world of mortgages with mortgage expert Kyle Ford. Over to you, my friend.
Thanks, Rav. This week I want to talk about habitability on properties. What does habitability mean? When it comes to bank or conventional financing, lenders want to make sure that the living conditions are suitable. This makes the property marketable. What that means, on closing, you should be able to spend the night with a verified heat source, wake up, use the toilet, cook yourself breakfast, and brush your teeth. If the property is not in condition to do that, your lender may not be comfortable financing this. When you see TLC or handyman special, that's usually a sign that you're going to want to reach out to your mortgage agent and ensure that that property is going to fit into your basic pre-approval. Remember, you're pre-approved based on your income. The lender still has the right to approve the property. Though these TLC and handyman specials may be a great buy for the right person, it's important to double check with your financing team to make sure that everything still works inside your pre-approval. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to myself and the Kyle Ford Mortgage team. Thanks and have a great day. Back to you, Rav.
Thanks, Kyle. Always great to learn from you. So Tanya, again, thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Rav.
Okay, so let's take a look at this cottage that you flipped here. So we bought this. We bought this cottage when?
Last September.
So in September 2020. That's about what? 8 months ago?
Yes.
9 months?
Right around there, yeah.
Yeah, let's call it 9 months. And this is now closed. So you bought this cottage and it's in Kingston, 5 minutes north. Is that what you said?
Yeah, exactly. 5 minutes north of 401.
Okay, so 5 minutes north of the 401. And this cottage, the purchase price on this was what?
$375,000.
$375,000. Now, how did you find this cottage? Is this market value? Is this undervalued right from the get-go? Did your realtor find this for you? How did we get here?
So that was on the MLS, and we did actually have to compete for that purchase. I think it was listed at 350. So we went up to 375, and was our lucky day. We got it.
And did you have to, any conditions, inspection, financing, anything like that?
No, because we were competing, there's not a whole lot of time for that. We did go through it prior to, and took a couple folks with us to poke around a little bit. We knew going in that there was going to be work, some significant work that needed to be done. So, yeah, we knew that we were getting in.
No, but this is really important for people to realize once they see how much you made on this. There's nothing wrong with engaging in a bidding war if you know what you're doing. I mean, it's not like you're willing to pay $450,000 for it. You were willing to pay $375 because you knew what you could do. And
That's right.
When you first bought it, your intent was use it and Airbnb it or whatever it's called, you know, to rent it out to,
That's right. Yeah.
to friends. Okay, so 375, and then what was our reno plus closing costs?
We were in 145,000 for that.
145K. Okay, so that is 520. So you're into this property for $520,000,
Yes.
and for a cottage in Kingston.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm living, 3 hours east of you, even though I'm born and raised in Kingston. We in the 70s bought a big old house for like $40,000. I didn't, my parents did.
Yeah.
And so we're paying, we're in for $520,000, for a cottage north of the 401 in Kingston. To me, that sounds astronomical, but it's really not, is it?
No, it's not actually. That's a fantastic price to be on waterfront, especially if you're familiar with the area. It's on the Rideau, so that's fairly sought after for, people who like to fish, and you can go all the way to Ottawa, you can get to Lake Ontario. There's nowhere you can't go if you're on the Rideau. So that pretty good opportunity.
And $145,000, that's not lipstick. There's something else. We're doing some work here.
We sure did. So when we bought it, it wasn't winterized, and it had a compost toilet, all sorts of goodies in it. So we basically, my wife and I demoed it right down to the studs. We had, septic. We had to winterize the water lines, all that sort of stuff, and just basically built it from inside. New plumbing, new electrical, new everything.
And Tanya, what percent do you and Agata do on properties, or this one specifically, as opposed to renovator, contractor kind of thing?
Right. So things have changed a little bit, but on that particular job, we did actually do all the gut work, and then we did some painting and a lot of we put pine ceilings in it, so we did all the staining for the pine ceilings and stuff like that. But we're not going in. We have a fantastic contractor, and he's the guy swinging the hammer and trying to make our vision come true. So, yeah.
And does this make for a busy or stressful, or because you guys are both, up till now, you're both full-time jobs, and shift work, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And yet you're doing a lot of this kind of work. So how does that? Yeah. How does it affect the marriage? How does it affect your stress levels?
Yeah, so life is incredibly busy, and there's been numerous stressful moments, but we're both on the same page. We both know that we're sort of working towards the end goal there of having some freedom and some time. So we're sort of paying the piper right now, so to speak, and then down the road, we'll be able to take our foot off the gas a little bit and be able to enjoy more time. We took advantage of the world being locked down over the last year and a half, and really put our nose to the grindstone kind of thing, and just worked and worked and worked. We normally travel 4 or 5 times a year. and go, to a lot of local events and stuff like that. And we had some time on our hands this year because of that. So we utilized it to our advantage, and it really set us up moving forward for essentially the rest of our life.
No, I love it. I love the transparency of just sharing that. There's a lot of shows out there that says, oh, this is easy work. It's not easy. It's doable, and we can do it. And I want people to, as amazing as you and Agatha are, I'm sure, I want people to say, hey, listen, if Tanya can do it, then maybe I can do it as well. That's the whole premise of the show, right? We want to inspire people, but I want people to know it's hard work, and there's a sacrifice there for a bigger payoff, down the road. So thank you for sharing that. Let's have the drum roll, please. And you sold this property now for how much?
$750,000.
$750,000 minus the 520. You're telling me, just a sec, I'm so excited. We got to use purple on this one. You're telling me that you made over $200,000 in the 8 or 9 months.
Yes.
Obviously, we have a little bit of commission to the realtor, and you got to make sure that she eats as well. But you made a couple $100,000 by mistake, meaning not by mistake, but by just kind of adjusting your mindset that, hey, here's an offer. We can make a couple $100,000, and we can do something else. We can go, take a few more trips to Turks and Caicos, if you will, or buy a cottage down the road. No, Tanya, this is really exciting. So now you're doing another flip. You're about to embark on another one.
Yes.
Is that in cottage country? Is that in Kingston? What is it?
It's just in a little town. It's in Sydenham, so just 20 minutes north of town, and it's right in the little village, which is a pretty neat little place to be. They've got the point there, and right on the Sydenham Lake, and everything you ever need is right in Sydenham. So we're really hoping that goes as well as the cottage.
And how much did we buy that for?
We bought that for $220,000.
200. We bought that for $220,000. And how much are we thinking we're going to put in?
We're probably going to have to. It's essentially a shell package that we bought. We're probably have to put in close to
300.
Yeah.
And this is where you're saying this money might be able to come from, Rav and friends.
That's right.
Right? And then we work out something. But so we're in for this for 520.
Yes.
Just like, actually, that's funny, just like the other one.
Yeah.
And when we're done with this, what do we think market value is going to be?
Well, so when we're done, we'll have essentially a brand new build, 3,200 finished square feet of space. So it's quite large. We should be at about right around the 650 mark, we're hoping.
Around the 650. So we're going to 650. So we're going to make, again, 130K. And this is going to take you how long?
Oh, that's a big one. Probably, I'm going to say probably 6 months.
6 months.
It's a big job. Like, it's right down to the studs again. And yeah, it's a project.
Yeah, no, but listen, this is fantastic that you're doing this, and you're not doing this in Metropolis per se. You're doing this in Kingston, surrounding area. I think Kingston has a population of, I don't know what it is, 120, 130,000.
Pretty close to it, yeah.
Yeah, no, Tanya, listen, this is very inspiring. Thank you, so much for being on the show with us, and let's have you back, and let's kind of follow what you and Agatha are doing, and a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Rav.
Yes, you're welcome. And thank you guys for watching. Without you, we would not have a show. Make sure you tune in next week. Same place, same time. Honey, I love you. I'll be home soon. Thanks for watching, everyone.